comments to the board. Per established procedures, we will not respond to questions or interact with the speaker during public comment. Everyone who indicates that they would like follow-up from the district will get follow-up from the appropriate administrator. First up is Vincent Monroe.
This speech is rated G. It represents my views only and no affiliate or organization. Every month we discuss district issues. Most often on behalf of the community, I'll present a systemic procedural problem or ask clarifying questions regarding policy. The cell tower discussion is a good example. Criticism and problem solving are important, but it's equally important to highlight when you execute a plan well and why it worked. And the superintendent interview process is this example. Thank you for making the process an open process after the selection of the final applicants. You have most likely followed the Open Meetings Act, and I say most likely only because the actual law seems to agree with making this process open after selecting the final 6 candidates, but your law firm Truin seems to disagree, as I've shown you there. Their website states, quote, decisions to eliminate certain applicants for consideration or to offer candidates interviews must be made in open session. Now, the dichotomy here is concerning and may require your inquiry. If Truin is found by you to be lacking proper nuance on this matter, one would question what other board policies lack nuance or might be putting you at legal risk. Now, it does make sense to me that the first round of interviews was a standardized set of questions. You need a stable metric to gauge each candidate and compare others. Plus, I understand why audience participation was not solicited in that round. Still, you asked that we fill out forms to give our impressions of the candidates. This shows a legitimate effort to engage with the community. You provided cards for the audience to fill out that might be used by the board for second round of deliberations. It is your job to vet each candidate as our elected representatives. Choosing this as your means to that end allows you to ask questions in an orderly manner. I am, however, curious to see if you will honor all the questions or whether some will be cherry-picked and omitted in the next round. Time will tell. You conducted the interviews after business hours. That's thoughtful of you to consider working parents and community members and position this crucial meeting at a time conducive to a greater community participation. Some people couldn't make the interviews. You made efforts to account for their questions. You have scheduled time tomorrow to meet and greet the candidates, allowing us direct face-to-face interactions. This allows concerned citizens an opportunity to form their own opinions. It is clear to me that significant thought has gone into this process. For the reasons noted, I perceive the plan to be executed well. And it's important that the board knows that things are working well. For I am cautiously optimistic that it is this level of community engagement that will be the way of such deliberations in the future. Good day.
Thank you. Jessica Lamaya.
I see this in my home address.
Good evening. My name is Jessica Lemire, 3613 Aldancy. So I'm not a member of the Forest Hills community. I am part of the Northview School District, and nonetheless, I'm a concerned community member with regard to the construction of the 5G cell tower, which I know is not on the agenda tonight, but just want to just express my concern about that. Like I said, I'm not part of the Forest Hills community. However, I've been looking for ways to educate the community at large in the Grand Rapids area about the dangers of Wi-Fi and electromagnetic fields, and happened to come across the Facebook group that was talking about the cell phone tower, and I wanted to get involved as I could. So I'm here to testify to the sensitivity that I have to electromagnetic fields. I first began feeling the effects of EMF during the summer of 2020. Since I wasn't working at the time, I stayed home, and though I didn't do any strenuous activity during the day, I found myself exhausted at the end of each day. And as a result of my research, I learned about the dangers of EMF, and specifically radio frequency radiation being emitted from Wi-Fi routers. I discovered that a router was located in the basement directly below me, and found that it was emitting extremely concerning levels of EMF radiation find a plausible explanation for my symptom. So some things I do to reduce my exposure, places in town that are located near cell towers, such as Knapp's Corner, Grand Rapids Township Park, and John Ball Zoo, I take alternative driving routes to avoid as many cell towers as possible, and I also wear EMF shielding clothing such as this hat, which has silver material lining to block some of the radiation. But even as I take steps to protect myself, I still experience tinnitus, continued fatigue, prickly sensations, pain in my hand and eye, all common symptoms of electromagnetic hypersensitivity, EHS, which is estimated to affect 5 to 30% of the population. And with growing concern, it's getting more attention as we're being bombarded with EMF on an unprecedented level. I'm concerned about the children, I'm concerned about the staff, I'm concerned about the community who will be affected by this decision, and I just urge you to consider the multiple risks and medical and emotional ramifications of exposing the individuals to the 5G tower. Who knows how many will become EHS as a result of the drastic increase in EMF radiation. Thank you.
Thank you. Chris Weir.
Good evening. My name is Chris Wary, and I'm a resident of Grand Rapids Charter Township, father of 4 in the Forest Hills Eastern School District. I have a bachelor's degree in electrical and computer engineering from Cornell University, and at Cornell I specialize in wireless communication and specifically cellular networks. I've been in the tech industry for about 22 years, working at Cisco Systems and consulting to the top 3 wireless carrier, helping them implement their 4G and 5G networks. I'm strongly in favor of pursuing an alternative Wi-Fi based solution instead of constructing a new cell phone tower. I submitted a written proposal to Julie Davis and the board members here tonight on the evening of the cell phone tower informational meeting. Here we are 60 days later. I've traded emails with Julie Davis about my proposal, and a few topics came to light that are worth sharing in this forum. The first, Wi-Fi versus cell tower. It was presented at the informational meeting that they operate in the 2.4 gigahertz range, and obviously they are the same. They're actually not. I educated Julie on the more relevant factor of antenna power rating, and how a room like here only has one Wi-Fi antenna to cover it, but a cell phone tower, in that one Wi-Fi antenna can only cover this room, whereas a cell phone tower can actually cover up to 2 miles. A higher power rating corresponds to a higher electromagnetic radiation exposure. Julie shared that the problem she's trying to solve is a lack of reliable cellular service and its impact on the safety and security of the campus. My gosh, if there's a safety and security issue on campus, why are we all okay with waiting 2 years to solve it? And then just for Verizon subscribers. Don't we want to explore an alternative solution that we can actually implement in the next few weeks or months and not take years? And then finally, Julie said that it isn't about expanding access to the internet, it's about being able to reach emergency responders in a timely manner in the event of an emergency, no matter how small, end quote. Let me introduce you to Wi-Fi calling. You can make calls with your cell phone through a Wi-Fi network. So if you have access to the internet, any cell phone, not just Verizon subscribers, could call emergency responders. Problem solved. I'm presenting these options today to basically result in less electromagnetic radiation exposure for our kids and teachers that can be implemented in weeks, not years, and finally solve real problems that have been raised: security, med device connectivity, even connecting with kids after school activities. I'm calling the board to act and ask the administration to request a pilot of some of these ideas. Improve guest Wi-Fi registration process with the current provider you already have today, making it simple and easy to get connected. And expanding Wi-Fi to new coverage areas, pickup line, parking lot, etc. This shouldn't take long in terms of time or money investment. I leave you with this question. If you enter a 30-year binding contract, you're signing up the school district to 3 decades worth of technology advancement. Are you willing to roll the dice for the health and safety of your students?
Thank you. Sorry, Yin Fei Q.